Agile and Hybrid PMP Test 2. The buzz on social media about hybrid and agile on the PMP exam in 2022 is deafening. Therefore, we will take a look at another set of questions to bring the number up to 12. Here's our next question. You are working, I'll let you read it. The way this works, take a minute, read the question, select an answer, and I will reveal what the correct answer is. All right. So I hope you have made a selection. I hope you hit the pause button. Spoiler alert. So if we read through this, it talks about the project we're working on. And then it reads, as part of the project you're working to a plan that will deliver rapidly and frequently. So that tells you rapid and frequent cannot be predictive. So we're going to eliminate predictive. And then it says, with a very minimal amount of change. Iterative has a high amount of change, and it only delivers once, so it cannot be that. And then it says, as part of the project, you're working on a plan that will deliver rapidly and frequently with a minimal amount of change. Which of the following best describes a team's actions? So if we read through this, just by the process of elimination, we have gotten rid of 2. Now, the first part about working on Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, blah, 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 it really doesn't have much of an effect on the best answer. There is nothing in this that speaks to hybrid. It speaks just plainly to the fact that it is incremental because it has a minimal amount of change, just like incremental, and it's delivering rapidly and frequently. What is the goal of incremental? Speed, frequent, smaller deliveries. So there's nothing here that suggests that there's a copious amount of change and frequent delivery, which is what Agile is. So if you haven't read page 18 and 19 in the Agile Practice Guide, you should, because that's what will point you to why the answer cannot be D. The best answer, remember, we always go for the best on the exam. The best answer is B. I know it will shock some of you, but that's the answer. All right, let's move on to the next one. Take some time, read it. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Hit that pause button if you need more time. You're developing a database type software that would be workflow oriented and include highly detailed behavior data and analytical queries. You expect the types of variances that have occurred on the project to date to continue. And then he talks about 500 story points. Well, 500 story points planned for the iteration is really code for planned value. 750 story points completed is really code for earned value. What is SPI? Scheduled performance index is planned value divided, I beg your pardon, let me do that again, earned value, I beg your pardon, divided by planned value. And therefore, if we say the earned value of 750 divided by the planned value of 500, we get the number 1.5. And that is why the answer to this is A. It's 1.5. So it's very simple. The questions you get on the exam may not have any calculation. They may just go straight to SPI is 1.5 and ask, what does it mean? But in some instances, you could get problems, as some people have said they did. Next question. Take a minute, select an answer. Bear in mind, this question is a select all that apply. So more than one answer will be correct. All right, hit that pause button if you didn't already. Have you selected your answer? All right, let's take a look. The answer to this question, my friends, by the process of elimination is not backlog refinement. That's an event. That is not part of a baseline. The other one we're going to eliminate is management reserves, because management reserves are for knowns and they are not part of the baseline. In the 6th edition, it talks about it being part of a budget at best, but definitely not part of the baseline. So the correct answers are scope statement and work breakdown structure. Remember, the performance measurement baseline consists of the cost, scope, and schedule baselines. And in the scope baseline, you have the scope statement, or project scope statement, as it's formally known, the work breakdown structure, and the work breakdown structure dictionary. So moving on to the next question, take a minute, read it, choose a best solution you think, and let's take a look at the answer. All right, so using the process of elimination, it gives us a picture. We're working on a hybrid project, we're building a prototype, and it then says at the end, because everything else, all this stuff is really not very relevant. Now, on the exam, it could be relevant, and that's why you cannot afford to skip it, because it could be tricks buried in there. So you do need to read that. But it says, which one, just one of the following techniques best emphasizes developing various prototypes in order to select the ideal prototype? So it's not predictive. Predictive is not known for prototypes. Incremental is not known for prototypes. We don't have time for that. It's a speed-driven thing, as you'll see in the Agile practice guide. And as far as Agile is concerned, it does not best describe this. Iterative, on the other hand, is best known for its rapid prototyping, or maybe it doesn't take that quick. Maybe it's longer, but the bottom line is developing various prototypes in order to select the ideal prototype. That's the key thing. You want to select the ideal prototype. So you got many things you're doing, repeating until correct. And then when you get the prototype you need, that's it. That's iterative. Iterative is a one-time delivery. All right. So the best answer to this is, of course, iterative. Iterative is a one-time delivery. All right. For those of you who are looking for training, coaching, and help on your journey, go on down to agileprinciple.com. We're going to take a look at the Agile Practice Guide, piece it apart, and we're going to be learning that on Sunday. So if you are interested in this, go on down to the website and sign up. All right, let's go to our next question. Hit the pause button if you need more time. All right. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so it reads, you're documenting team member roles and responsibilities for your hybrid project. Some of the responsibilities include understanding purpose and objectives, working to timescales and within constraints, reporting progress against plans. So immediately you feel, okay, this probably isn't Agile. But that's not the point. It then goes on to say, which of the following should be done to support the effort of you documenting these things, roles and responsibilities, right? So when we talk about roles and responsibilities, this is one of the hallmarks of resource management, and it's what we do when we are planning resource management. Now, the roles and responsibilities do not exist in the team charter. They do not exist in the Agile project charter, and the definition of done does not include what we are documenting, team member roles and responsibilities. So in order to support your effort of doing this, you would create a resource management plan. I know some of you might have read it in a different way and chosen something else, but the answer that I was looking for is the resource management plan, because this is exactly what the plan does. It is where we document the roles, responsibilities, such and such. So that would have been the best option in my mind. Second best would have been a team charter. This is how the exam is. I know many of you are wrestling with how close the options are. Well, that's why I put this together, so you could be aware of how these things are on the exam. Next question, hit the pause button and read. All right, let's take a look. So you're working a hybrid project which has a double-decker elevated highway, and it talks about the project on and on. And it says, the project is on time budget. Unfortunately, an earthquake struck in the middle of the project, damaging the structure. Placing the viaduct will be more cost effective than repairing it. What should you do when sponsors are no longer interested in continuing the impressive project? Well, remember, you're working on this. Your role is that of a project manager, right? If you tailor this to the project manager's authority, there are certain things that you would not do. So one, the project isn't complete, so D is not right. C says work with the team to immediately work on a risk response plan. Well, you wouldn't do that. That should have already been done. So we've got A and B. Think about it. Issue an informal document that shows the reason of early termination. Nothing in this question said it has been terminated. So A is bogus. But then looking again at B, it says issue a document that formalizes the procedures for the transfer of finished and unfinished deliverables. So A, C, and D are not the best options. The best option is B. That is more realistic, and that is more in line with what should happen, even if you are not the project manager. Based on what we have in the question, A is premature. So you wouldn't do that. All right. Be aware that when these questions are written on the exam, you are a project manager, a facilitator, servant leader, something of that nature. Let's take a look at the final one. And it says, you're working on an aviation administration project, goes on and on. I'll let you read it. Three, two, and one. So this one, you got to read it really carefully, right? So the first piece is all informational about the type of project. And then it says your project schedule and budget is, watch this, completely fixed. So with a fixed schedule and budget, you know that this is not predictive. So A can go, because in predictive, scope is fixed, cost and schedule are flexible. So it's not that. In fact, you already see the train coming if you have read your definitions properly, as well as the DSDM upside down triangle, which shows you that in the world of Agile, scope is fixed, scope is flexible, I beg your pardon. What am I saying? The DSDM upside down triangle shows you that in the world of predictive, scope is fixed. In the world of Agile, scope is flexible. And it shows you that schedule and costs are fixed. So it says, schedule and budget completely fixed for each of the 10 project iterations where you are analyzing tools and methods that will help the project to achieve its goal, to allow planes to fly more routes instead of following the existing inefficient flight paths that are arranged like highways in the sky. Your team shows you a report of, watch this, incremental deliveries. So these incremental deliveries cannot be iterative either. Iterative is a one-time delivery. Incremental is multiple deliveries. So now we understand that we have the hallmarks of Agile in this description, and we have the hallmarks of something else that Agile includes, which is incremental deliveries. And then it says, and associated flexible scope efforts. You see that? So this is pointing not towards hybrid. There's nothing that sounds hybrid in this. Instead, this just sounds completely agile. We're talking about fixed budget and schedule, flexible scope, and we're talking about incremental deliveries. The best answer is C. Now, I know some of you are going to struggle with these questions, but this is the level. This is the aptitude. This is the ability that I'm looking for if you're taking the exam. You've got to be really confident and firm. Now, I know it's just 12 questions, but don't let the number fool you. These questions will find your gaps. I wrote them purposely to find your gaps in collaboration with another PMP. All right, so I hope you found this to be useful. You got any questions? You put them in the comments below. And don't forget, if you're struggling with the whole concept of Agile, you need to be on agileprinciple.com, coming for our training and coaching this weekend. You take care. and talk to you soon. Bye for now.